Hi, this is the immortal John Hancock here, and thought I would do an interview style video. And I'm honored to have Smash JT with me, and pretty much talking about kind of a previous video that I did, and talk about some mistakes maybe that I shouldn't have done, and kind of my intention of the video, and just talk about just some things about myself that maybe some other people don't know. And so I'm just here to talk about that video in general and kind of clear the air on some things. And I thought it'd be important maybe to have maybe someone who saw the video, who did a video response, and then some others did some video responses to that.
Yeah, John, well, first off, thank you so much for having me here. It really means a lot to me. This is an honor for me because I've always looked up to you. I feel like you are one of the mainstays in the YouTube community as far as someone who's a really good human being, and not only that, but really knows their stuff when it comes to video games in general. And I saw your video, and like a lot of people who watched it, were maybe, I think the best word would be confused a little bit, because it comes across as a little bit of a mixed message. Yeah. And when I made my response video, I didn't mean it to be a negative against you. And I hope a lot of people watching this may look at me and be like, oh my God, Smash JT, he's flipping sides again because he's talking to John Hancock. It's like, no, I never was against you. In fact, if you watch my video again, I clearly say that I have nothing against you. And if I was your friend, I'd be like, dude, take that video down and make something that actually gets to the point succinctly, because people were definitely starting to take that the wrong way. And I feel like this is really important to clear the air. So what is it you specifically were trying to get at with that message?
Well, I think I was kind of asking. I think first of all, I support people making YouTube videos, and I've helped many other people in the community with their channel. And as just kind of I feel a hobbyist myself. I've had other YouTubers help me, and I just wanted to help others with some helpful suggestions. The problem with that is sometimes you need to look at yourself, and if you're exhausted, and if you're just done, to not do video.
Yeah.
and so the important thing to know is that when I did that video in particular, I was on about 2% energy. And so, I'm wrapping up the school year, and I love my job. It's my day job, and I'm a second grade elementary school teacher for people that don't know. And I did a video with like zero energy level. And I think what happened essentially was that I was trying to make a helpful video for others that just kind of switched to crabbiness. Mm-hmm. And I've done a couple videos like that, and people have picked up on it, and it's just something that, for me, this is just like a busiest time of the year for me, wrapping up grades, doing assessments in my class, and getting prepared for many panels and shows I'm going to in the summer. And sometimes you just need to know when to shut it off. Yeah. And I didn't. And I think it's important to know people that. And the other thing too is it like, that's like the last thing I want to do is to bash anybody else or to harm anybody else. I consider myself a pretty positive person. Mm-hmm. and that I think the message got lost. And but on the other hand, though, there's a lot of people out there that have knee-jerk responses that are just waiting for someone to mess up.
Oh yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
They're sharpening the knives. And I think there's a perception out there. Some people just see me on YouTube and don't know that I'm a human being. I make mistakes like everybody else all the time. And that I'm just pretty much trying to clear the air, just saying, first of all, I'm sorry. And some aspects of that video were a mistake, and it wasn't my intention. That's the short answer.
I think the best part about YouTube and viewers and fans, especially of your channel, I think is, people are forgiving in nature, especially when they understand that everyone is human when they're doing this. And I don't think you had a negative intent when you made your video. In fact, when I made my response, I was saying I think it just came across the wrong way. Yeah. What was the message that you were trying to get across specifically?
Well, I think that there are some wonderful channels out there, and I think I was trying to be helpful on to like suggest to people to find their own kind of way, and kind of asking. I think it's important that everybody needs to ask themselves, why are you doing this, and trying to give some like realistic, helpful hints that just came across as like grumpy old man shaking a stick. You know, get off my lawn, as Radical Reggie was kind of.
Yeah.
And you know, I think that there's some truth to that. I also think there's some truth on the other side. You know, even though there was some people that you know really were, you know, didn't like the video, there was a lot of people that did agree with it.
Yep.
And I think there's somewhere in the middle is the truth. And I think that sometimes I think it's harder for us as human beings, especially in today's society, to take an honest look at ourselves. You know, and I can't speak for anybody else, but like I'm okay with like looking within myself. You know, I have a psychology background. For people that don't know, I have a master's in psychology. I did counseling for years. I've done counseling for years. And, you know, just being an honest, reflective look at oneself and just admit to things.
Well, just from me personally, after your video posted and I made my response to it, and you start to see, I don't know how in tune you were with it, but there were responses that started trickling in after that. And it's funny because a few of the response videos that I had watched after mine were saying, you know, I haven't seen John Hancock's video, but my response, and I'm just like, this I think is what John was actually getting at, where people aren't doing their due diligence, their research, and they're just kind of throwing a video out there. And it was funny because when I posted that on Twitter, a couple people actually commented like, maybe John was onto something. In a weird way.
And that, I think that's it. I got some advice for some good friends. I've talked to some close friends after this. I talked to Radical Reggie, and you know, he actually had some pretty good advice of just like kind of limiting my. Sometimes as YouTubers, we can get caught up into what other people are doing, and I get into that, and so like really worrying about what other people are doing, when really it just it's sometimes it's good to just turn it off, and just be genuine to yourself and your direction and your creative style. And I get caught up into that, and I've admitted to that before, and it just sometimes it just you know comes out. And you know, typically I'm a pretty happy-go-lucky guy, but you know, as I said before, I'm human, and yeah, it was definitely not my intent of the video, and it just you know, it's one of those mistakes. And I for me, it's a good example. Like I keep all my videos out. It's important to know where I'm going, and I look at my old videos, which some of them were terrible.
All of ours are.
They've been terrible. Not even a tripod, and like you know, filming on like a Fujifilm camera. Like, oh my gosh, yeah, like terrible. You know, I've been doing videos a long time, and some of my early videos were done years before. And so some people don't know that like I did how-to videos, like how to collect things, and sold them at conventions on DVD in the mid 2000s, even before YouTube was like a thing. And so I took those and then uploaded them to YouTube to help others. Not realizing, I mean, I knew that they were okay, but like looking back at it, it's like, oh my gosh. And so I really am trying to be an educator and to help others. And, you know, looking back at that video, that's just, I want to keep it up as a reminder to myself to be grounded. I think it caused a lot of people to talk with each other, and for that it was a success. I think for the other things it wasn't.
No, that's a really good point. It actually started a conversation, and I think it's something that needed to be talked about. And I think while the message could have been a little bit clearer, what I was getting at with what I thought you were getting at, you agreed. It was more there were too many people who thought they could be successful. Too many people who were in this for the wrong reasons. Everybody has a voice. Everybody has the ability. I think the message got lost when that got twisted and confused with why people are doing this in the first place. Would you agree with that?
I agree with that.
Really, I think that's all we needed to do is just kind of hash that out, make sure people understood where you were coming from, because I didn't want my video to leave with a negative impression on who you were as a YouTuber or who you were as a human being, because we all know better. We know that you're a good guy. I've never met you in person, but every story I've ever heard about you, there's nothing but great things said. And I mean, this conversation itself, I can tell you're an awesome person. So I mean, I want to apologize if my video came off as aggressive to you. Uh, it was just.
It was hard. I think it was hard in general to see the responses of some people. I think some of it is fair and some of it's not. And I think that, you know, there's some other people that are kind of like out to, that no matter what I do or what I say, they're just not going to like it.
Well, that's good.
That's okay.
That's gonna happen with everybody, though. Yeah, I mean, I get that too. It's no matter what you do, it's wrong. You know.
You know, it was by far not my best moment, and I'm okay to say that. You know, first of all, I'm sorry, and that, you know, sometimes I just need to know when to not do a video.
Yeah, and I think it might have been a mistake, but at the same time, I think some of us grow the most in our lives when we make mistakes like that. I know I have personally.
Yeah.
So,
you know, I think for me that you know, constructive criticism, I do take an ear to. I don't take an ear to just bashing, and there's a big difference. And some people don't know how to appropriately respond. They just knee-jerk reaction. And for that, you know, I'm not going to listen to those, because that's always going to be around. Especially, you know, as people look at like my collection, or they look at my videos and they'll critique my videos, or they'll look at my collection, they'll think I'm rich, or, you know, I'm just a tag along to, you know, Metal Jesus Rocks. My response to that is that I always consider myself a collector first, an educator second, and a YouTuber third. And my intentions, you know, I've been on the collecting scene for a long time, and, you know, I'm not the end all be all, but, you know, I've learned a lot of things along the way. I want to share my knowledge with others, and I'm learning my way on YouTube, and I'm far from perfect, and it's just kind of a learning curve. I appreciate the feedback I've gotten from people, both good and bad. I try to read as many comments as possible, and you know, I try to appropriately respond. There's times, you know, like anybody, I get mad, I get happy, I get sad, I reflect upon things I've done, and this is just one of those times. Just kind of talk about it, and truly say to people who tune into me, it wasn't my best video, and for that I'm sorry.
I think a lot of people will get a lot out of that, and it means a tremendous amount to show humility, to show that, hey, we all, maybe it's, I wouldn't even say it's a mistake. I'd say it's a learning experience. That's the way I chalk it up to.
It's like, you know, sometimes you got to eat humble pie. And I think it's all good for all of us to do that. And, you know, again, this is kind of a journey for me. If you would have told me 10 years ago that I, you know, would be doing this, and, you know, like going across the United States, going to a convention based on my humble channel, or other things, you know, out of country, it's just crazy. And so I look forward to doing some awesome things in the future, and I do appreciate it. I would like to have more guests on my channel. It's tough. I live in a middle of nowhere kind of place.
Yeah.
You know, I'm in between Seattle and Portland, in a podunk town. And it's just one of those things, like, I'd like to have more in person, but maybe this is the answer. So
yeah, absolutely. Cool. Well, I guess we'll end it there, and thank you so much for, you know, hashing it out and putting your real thoughts on the table, so everyone knows where you actually stand on this, so that they know that you're a really good dude, and we all have our moments where the message may have not been as clear as you would have liked it to be. So I thank you for this.
Yeah, no problem. Where can we find you?
Oh, I'm located on SmashJT on YouTube, youtube.com/SmashJT, and a lot of people have met me through my video being recommended after yours. So if you're new to my channel, welcome, and I hope you enjoy the content I make, guys. But I appreciate the ability to be able to speak to a legend in the gaming community such as you, John. So thank you for doing this with me.
Most appreciated. Thank you for taking time to do this, and continue to tune in, folks, and look forward to doing many more videos in the future. Take care.
Awesome. Thank you so much, John. Have a good one.